If I could just call your attention just for a moment, please. So we are going to have just a little quick discussion up here, and we thought it'd probably make the most sense to just do it now while you're right in the middle of your meals. It's going to be about 10 minutes or so, and then you are free to return to your meals and your conversations. But I think this is an important conversation to have. We want to talk just a little bit about sort of the value of industry academic collaboration. And so I'm really pleased to have up here, and you can demask Rafa, okay. Rafael Fernandez, who is the Innovation and Digital Strategy Director from Ferrovial. You've heard a lot about Ferrovial today. They have a long relationship with MIT, so I thought it would make sense to just have a quick conversation about that. So, Rafa, let's start out just a little bit on the transformation that your company has gone through from sort of old traditional infrastructure, another word we keep hearing, to sort of new mobility stuff, and with that, the transformation from physical to digital.
Great. Thank you, John. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here and the invitation today. So Ferrovial started 60-something years back as a startup, and we are still like in the mood of changing, evolving in a daily basis. We started as a construction company, then we moved to a transportation company with concessions in several fields, airports and highways, and now we are working in the mobility and energy space. So evolving in this quite logic transformation value shift from a business point of view. As we were talking before, we are a transport and energy infrastructure company. So what we do is to design, finance, build, operate, and maintain transport assets for people, goods, and energy. Our biggest part of the business is here in North America, so Canada and the US.
So you're based in Spain, but the biggest part of your business is here in the States.
I would say that 80% of the business is here.
Okay.
But we're based in Spain.
Yeah.
And when I say here, we have a huge arm of the company that the one Andrés Sacristan presented, which is Cintra.
Yeah.
It's a toll road operator company based in Austin with activity in some other states, like North Carolina or Virginia. In top of this, what we have, another branch to manage airports, being Heathrow, our biggest one, and a few other airports around the world. The construction company is like the one that provides us a lot of flexibility and efficiency to go to those opportunities. And then we have a number of startups and spin-off as a business.
Yep.
So, for example, mobility, for example, energy, and then we will talk later, for example, urban mobility as well. So there are things that from innovation we are promoting, we are incubating, and then we start new businesses, and we're in this transformation. How we support from innovation this journey. So, of course, efficiency is our biggest target as a company, and we from innovation, we support a lot of business in efficiency. But this is operational excellence, incremental innovation. I wouldn't say it's innovation as we are talking today. Where we act more and we provide more value is in the transformation and new business areas. So we aim to, we work in horizons. So horizon 1 is efficiency, horizon 2 is transformation, horizon 3 is new business. And when I talk about transformation, is what you were saying. We come as a pure physical company, and now the mix is changing to a big part of digital in top of the physical one. And we will talk some projects about it. But it comes to me the project idea that the one we are launching here in the US, which is to convert our corridors and manage lanes in assets and highways that are able to work with connected and autonomous mobility, and this is a big change, no?
Yeah.
Because you have to enhance the physical infrastructure, you need to put digital infrastructure, and you need to talk about applications on top of it, no? So, and I will talk later also, no? And then new business, no? And new business, when I talk new business, I talk things like that for what we were in the beginning, a construction company is science fiction, no? Like car sharing.
Yeah.
So we have a car sharing business in Europe that is profitable. It's one of the only profitable business like this that we can find. The next step of this, robotaxis. We have a mobility as a service. We have the urban air mobility venture we are building in Miami, and we'll talk later also, Miami and the UK. So, so the evolution and the transformation that you were saying is more about connecting with the right partners. And we leverage a lot in open innovation, and we have been working in this mode of collaborating and find deal enablers and ecosystem players in a lot of time in the last 10 years. And this is one of the reasons we are here, no? To find people that want to work with us in transforming the future of infrastructures and the future of mobility and energy. And I'm sure what we see today that this is gonna happen.
Right, so it goes back to that theme of partnerships that we touched on this morning. So here's a company, you're, I think, the majority owner in Heathrow Airport. You've been in these businesses like, you know, running the I-66 corridor, highways in Texas and so forth. It's a little bit of a cliche, right? But we're taking infrastructure and we're turning it into smart infrastructure. And that involves partnerships. And I mean, I've been impressed with, you know, your collaboration with companies like 3M and Microsoft, and tell us a little bit more maybe about some of these sort of new businesses that you've been incubating.
Yeah, for example, no, we were talking about the urban mobility, no? This one that is really interesting because it's a totally new business, because it's changing the mindset of the company, and because potentially can add a lot of value in the future. It's very uncertain, no? And also we have to play with uncertainty when we talk about innovation and new business, no? And we started in this new business of urban mobility, which is flying taxis, I would say with a mix of...
So aerial urban mobility.
Yes, exactly. With a mix of strategy, forward thinking, a lot of push, a lot of work and hours against many things, and a lot of serendipity also.
Yeah.
So many things have to happen in order to be able to launch things like this in today's world.
Okay, let's come back to that. But before that, just tell us a little bit how you guys have worked with MIT, and tell us about that relationship.
Yeah, no, so I think we have been working for MIT now like 11 years, no?
You're working for MIT.
Yeah.
That's even better.
We started back in 2010 with MIT, so the MIT Energy Initiative, and we have done 26 projects, no? And projects that are really relevant to the company. We have been working in the Mobility System Center. MIT has supported us in the launching of initiatives like, for us, that were at that moment very strategic, like smart cities, urban services, and providing a lot of value to the core business of Ferrovial, no? And if I have to say some projects, I would talk, well, from the efficiency point of view, our construction company and branch has worked a lot with MIT, no? And we have projects like understanding the impact in the structures, in the buildings, with the land movement in the tunneling. So this is very, very advanced and help a lot us in opening business in Australia, in the US, in Europe. So really delivering algorithms to understand the risk to the infrastructures when you do tunneling in certain well, in certain places. No? So this is one example. Other example, we're talking about Sintra, no? And our toll roads. The MIT and the Professor Ben Akiva has support a lot in understanding how feasible is to do dynamic pricing with the condition of the road, with the demand management. Also, Professor Ben Akiva has supported us in the new business, and he's supporting us in using simulation techniques for urban air mobility, so the aerial air mobility initiative. We are doing projects of water, of energy, so many things we are doing and many things we want to do.
Well, I'm delighted to hear about that particular project because I personally am a big believer that 20 years from now, all roads will be dynamically priced. You know, it's just we have to sort of price the asset appropriately, and so it's great that you were able to move in that direction. Anything just in terms of your interest in the mobility initiative that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so it's a quantum leap to us to be here, but it's consistent in our strategy. So we were in the energy initiative. We are a transport company, a mobility company. It was for us yes or yes. And when we started the conversation, we had it very clear. No? I'm very happy to be a founding member with Mobileye Intel, with Ford, with Hyundai, and with you guys. No? So it's incredible. So what is our interest here? So be able to do joint research with these kind of players, with you and the newcomers that we will have. I mean, having in mind and assuring that infrastructure has a role is critical to us.
Yep.
And this should be a must. No? And more, I think the global mobility landscape is realizing that infrastructure has a play. No? And we can talk about enhancement, about 5G, about electric mobility. Everything needs infrastructure, no? And the cars also. Here we are going to talk about connectivity, 5G, AV policy, electrification. So everything that is at the core of our business.
Yeah.
So for us, it's going to be really interesting. And the other angle, of course, is to do ecosystem projects. So here with the partners. So for us, this is critical. Yeah.
So just one last maybe comment and question. So the comment is on this perennial concept of smart infrastructure. So here in Boston, there's a bridge that crosses from Boston to Cambridge right at Harvard University. And you know, I happened to be meeting with a professor at Harvard Business School named Rosabeth Moss Cantor. And she's in this beautiful office and looking out at this bridge. The bridge was constructed, the original bridge was constructed in 1915, and it was completely dilapidated a few years ago. And of course, you know, the cities of Boston and Cambridge spent a lot of money rebuilding this bridge. But I found her point really interesting, which is 100 years later, we rebuilt the exact same structure, right? So really nothing, no accelerometers or anything like that sort of could be entering this infrastructure. And so I think that's going to change. I don't know if you agree with that, but we're going to start seeing this intelligence brought in.
Totally. I mean, the beauty is that you might think that nothing has changed, but things are changing. So when you build a bridge, you have new materials, you have new techniques of construction, like generative and parametric design. You have a lot of artificial intelligence to manage the works, and then the bridge is more safe, more efficient, so it's more resilient to climate change. So things are happening behind the scenes, and this is great. No? And then on top of this, you have the digital part, which is gonna dramatically change the way we perceived and we use the bridge or the road.
Right.
User experience. So, in the construction maybe not, but in the digital space, you will find many things and many applications that, on top of the infrastructure and the systems, will support the safety and will support the user experience. That at the end is what moves us.
So maybe just one last question, then we'll let everyone return back to lunch. And that is, you mentioned urban aerial mobility, right? So Ferrovial is building this network of vertiports in Florida. You've just announced a big project in the United Kingdom. So now this is really new mobility infrastructure. Just tell us a little bit what you're doing there.
So this is a project that started 3 years back, and we were working very hard, internally and externally. So internally, to change the culture and is helping now to propose new things that are not perceived as crazy things. So we are doing many innovation projects due to this change of mindset that the project helps. And externally with ecosystem, no? From the very beginning, we understood that to be a relevant player in this business, we needed partners. And if you look at the value chain, of course you need, the manufacturers of the jets. And we began by working with Lilium, that is a German company that has this different kind of
electric vertical takeoff and landing.
With about 26 propellers and fully electric, and we arrived to a let's say a joint agreement to think together in the infrastructure and the service. Yep. And we began with Switzerland network. Then we moved to Heathrow. Then after knowing each other, we invested in the company through the SPAC. Yep. That they have made recently in March, which was very interesting. And then we said, okay, we need to launch the service where we will have propensity to pay, demand, congestion, And we decided Miami to be Florida to be our first network, and we have defined like 10 sites, 10 places to build a network. It's regional mobility in this case because it goes to up to 300 kilometers. And we are there. So now we are selecting the sites, closing the agreements with the owners or the grantors, and starting the design of the vertiports together with companies like AECOM, that is supporting us here. Mm-hmm. We are learning a lot. Yep. But you need to learn by doing.
Exactly.
So yep. and this is what we push a lot, because you can do a lot of papers, but if you don't go to the airport and you close the deal and you talk with this and the other, yep. You cannot do it, no? And this is what the first network we planned and we are launching, no? And the second one is the UK. Yeah. And then we thought, okay, we are an infrastructure company, so we're going to design, finance, build, and operate the vertiport. And someone will do the airline, no? Maybe we do, we don't know. And we said, okay, we have a partnership with Lilium, but we are agnostic. Yeah. At the end, you need, whatever jet to be able to land in your vertiport. Right. We started to talk to some of the players, and we ended in the UK with Vertical. Yes. Which is another player, European, also well-funded, with a very good product. And now we just launched 25 sites in the UK with Glasgow Airport, with Heathrow Airport that belongs to us, and many other places in the country, no? So we are going to dedicate our efforts to those two. Then we will see others, no? Like, I don't know, California, yep. or even here, no? But we are starting like this. We think that if we are able to do it well, it will scale very fast. Yep. And we are the ones to promote this. So happy to connect with everyone that wants to support us here as well in this venture.
Well, it's super exciting. This electric vertical takeoff and landing, there's been so much attention around it. And working first with Lilium in Munich, which I remember when I visited them a few years ago, I begged to see the vehicle because it is such a cool looking aircraft. So that you're building that in Florida, you're working with Vertico in the UK, maybe perhaps Joby and others in the future. Great to see that you're taking this agnostic approach to build the future, the infrastructure of new mobility. So any just quick questions for Rafa? comments, reflections? All right. Well, I'm going to let you all get back to enjoying your lunch with just one request, and that is that we return promptly to our seats at 1 p.m., but that those will be new seats. So you have to change tables again. So enjoy the rest of your lunch, and we'll reconvene at 1. Thank you.